Hi friends, I'm Shawna. Welcome to the channel. Today we have another minimalist aligned video. Today I'm talking about all of the things I regret decluttering. These are all things I really wish I never decluttered, and as well, some of these things I've actually repurchased or thought about repurchasing. Other things on this list, however, it's a little bit, too little, too late. You can't really replace them. On YouTube, we often hear people talk about things that they want to declutter or things that they don't want to buy anymore. And I think we see even more of it. We actually see people declutter their homes, their lives, their closets, and we don't often hear about the after, like what happens after you've decluttered these things. Sometimes we can see somebody buying more things because they have all this room and they want to refill their spaces again, or it's much easier to shop when your closet or your makeup drawers aren't bursting. I've heard a lot of talk from, this, segment of YouTube that there's very few things that they have ever repurchased or regretted decluttering. And, those fears shouldn't hold you back. And I think that as far as my own experience goes, that's largely true. In the grand scheme of all of the things that I have decluttered ever, the amount of things that I have regretted decluttering, they're the minority. It has happened enough that I have changed some of my decluttering habits, and I've definitely spent money, probably a few $100s, replacing things. There's also been a lot of brain space. That there are some things that keep me up at night. Like, I can't have this back. Why? I want this. So I'm going to talk about 11 things that I wish I didn't declutter. I'll let you know which of those things I've repurchased or thought about repurchasing as well. Before we get into the video, I want to thank today's sponsor, Ana Luisa. We love Ana Luisa on this channel. Friends, the holiday season is quickly approaching. Hanukkah and Christmas are just right around the corner. If you're like me, then you'll want to get your holiday shopping over as soon as possible, to avoid shipping delays and making sure your gifts arrive on time. I also like to be considered, give myself some buffer time to really consider what I want to get somebody to make sure my gift is thoughtful. If you are looking for a gift this holiday season for a mom, a loved one, a friend, a sister, I highly recommend checking out Ana Luisa. Ana Luisa is both sustainable and carbon neutral. They offset 100% of their carbon emissions, and they start with recycled materials first when producing their jewelry. Jewelry Ana Luisa starts at just $39, and I know that price is important to a lot of folks, especially this holiday season. One of my favorite things with Ana Luisa, and I've talked about this before, is their variety. I've mentioned that I think that Ana Luisa has something for everybody, and I'm really going to show you that today for just a hot minute. I'm going to show you some amazing pieces for the different types of folks in your life. Now, everything you're about to see is going to be under $100 Canadian. I'll have the prices in Canadian dollars and USD on the screen. For the person in your life who likes a little bit more of an edgier option, let me show you a couple of things. The first, what I have been obsessed over for months, two things. One, the Amara ring. I'm wearing her today. You've probably seen her in videos for the past few months. There's also a matching necklace. I will have a little bit of an insert in just a second. They also come in white if you're looking for a less edgier option. But Ana Luisa also has some really great snake-inspired pieces. They have the Adria, the Boa, and the Sylvia. All of these fit the edgy bill as well. For the person in your life who is all about all things dainty, let me hit you up with the Naomi necklace. She comes in at $50 Canadian, as well as the Demi necklace. Very cute little dainty pieces. The Cassie Pearl and Nate earrings fit this bill perfectly too. For your girl who loves a statement piece, maybe something fun and quirky, the Tia hoops are fabulous. They're, a statement hoop. So they're like a little statement without being all of the statement. The Lexi earrings are super fun. They're under $40 and they feature a female silhouette. I think these are so cute and just like really fun. Ana Luisa also has the Hannah style that comes in so many fun pops of color. And lastly, Ana Luisa has a zodiac collection of necklaces. If you have somebody in your life who's really into astrology, I think they're like fun, a little whimsical. If you have a classic gal in your life, let me just show you my 3 favorite pieces. The Paris hoops. I'll have to show you a picture of these on as well. These are my favorite earrings from Ana Luisa. Just pop them on. The Ina necklace, which is this flat chain, is also a super classic piece and an Ana Luisa bestseller. And lastly is the Willow set. It has 2 pieces together and one of them has a nice little disc. This is just like a ready-made little set that you can put on and wear with just about anything. There are so many beautiful pieces that Ana Luisa has to offer at a really great affordable price point. I hope you'll consider Ana Luisa this holiday season if you're looking to pick up a gift for loved ones in your life. And very special for this time of year, if you use the code Shawna Ripari 20, you get 20% off your entire order. Thank you so much to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. Let's now hop into it. Number 1 and 2 are the 2 things that really prompted this video. The first thing is hair coloring accessories. I'm talking about a bowl, you know, the applicator, gloves, highlighting board, bleach, hair color, developer. Listen, when I was in high school, I took Cosmo for 3 years so I could learn how to do hair, so I could do it on myself. So I learned the basics of hair coloring and highlighting, but I learned enough to be able to do my hair myself and understand kind of the basic premise of things and how long I should leave bleach on my own hair and just a lot of things. I got rid of all my hair coloring stuff last January, or maybe this past January. I hadn't colored my hair in several years, and the only time I had done it was because somebody at the salon screwed up my hair. Am I the most proficient person at hair coloring? No, but I'm good enough to do a lot of things, and I just assumed that I wouldn't color my hair at home again, and I would just stick to the salon. But there's been a couple of things that I really wanted to do that I could absolutely do myself, and like wouldn't be worth going to the salon to do. Like, why would I pay somebody $100 to give me a shadow root when I could do it myself? So I have been tempted several times to go to Sally's and pick up all of these things. And like, granted, it wouldn't be that expensive to do that, but I just had like my own little setup, including I had developer of every volume, and I always just had a little thing of bleach because you never know. It just feels kind of wasteful that I had decluttered all of these things like a year ago, and then, you know, a year later, I'm just going to rebuy them. They're all basically plastic. It just feels a little icky. I haven't jumped the gun and bought anything, but if not just icky, it feels like a waste. So this really just feels like a waste because I decluttered them like a year ago, less than, and now I already want to rebuy them. Number 2 is a razor, and I mean like for your hair. And what I'm talking about are like hair clippers. What you would normally use, like what would normally be used on short hair. I got rid of mine at the beginning of the year. There's like a whole video of me decluttering my bathroom, and I got rid of it only to rebuy it like 6 months later. If I only kept it, you know, there's nothing really there to indicate that I was going to cut my hair again. And I had bought mine a few years ago when I, you know, was shaving my head. But once I stopped, I actually used to cut my partner's hair like for several years. So there's no need for a razor. I guess I couldn't see this one coming. But I think with both of these things, they weren't like super expensive. Like the razor was maybe $30. Does it take up a lot of space in my bathroom? No. I don't mind just keeping a couple of these things for a rainy day. Because when it comes to me and my hair, and I think like for hair in specific, I just love to mess around with my hair. I've always been that way. And while I'm messing around with it far less than I used to, I'm still that kind of person. I'm still gonna mess around with my hair. So to have like a little drawer full of hair stuff that I could just keep there and it'll just be there, I'm okay with that. Is it minimalist of me? No. But when it comes to hair, having things for a rainy day actually make a lot of sense, because the rainy day will come. Whether it's in a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, the rainy day will come, and I will be annoyed if I have to go buy more of the hair stuff. Okay, I have a handful of makeup items to talk about next. And we'll start with number 3. This one, oh my god, last year in my project pan, this was a disaster. I'm talking about the Milk Makeup Bronzer. I regret decluttering this. I also regret depotting it. That was a mistake. I don't know what was going through my mind, but I do like a cream. And I think I was just annoyed by the fact that I couldn't draw it on my face. So I'm like, ugh, like this is useless. No. I currently have 2 stick blushes. They're both from Nude Sticks, and I love them, and they're great, and they're sticks, and they're fine. I'll either rub them on my like hand, or I'll take my brush directly onto the stick and put it on my face. I was apparently annoyed doing that with my Milk Makeup Bronzer, and now here I am considering rebuying the Milk Makeup Bronzer or buying something else similar, even like a cream bronzer, where you would put your brush on the stick or in the pan. I don't know. I mean, I think I was just like finding reasons to declutter it. You know, I really felt the pressure to have a smaller makeup collection. I also think part of me didn't fully understand how to use stick products at that point. I really feel like I just should have put it in a drawer and just left it before I messed with it. It didn't need to go into a project pan. And if I was struggling with it, I could have just taken it out. The whole Milk Makeup Bronzer saga annoys me. I just should have left it alone, because in a few months, like maybe a year later, I would have super enjoyed that product. I really would have. Number 4 is the Going Coconuts palette. I decluttered this palette because I didn't like it and because it was boring. Brown tone eyeshadow is my jam. I love me a brown tone eyeshadow. I mean, I sold it on Poshmark, so it wasn't like I just like chucked it in the garbage. I really wish that I didn't do that, because I've thought about rebuying it. I really have. I've thought about rebuying it. And the only reason why I haven't is because 1, that's embarrassing. But 2, I do have other neutral palettes, like my Tarte in Bloom, like my Natasha Denona Glam, also like my Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. The Latte palette is a little bit warmer, but there's like some similarities there. And I think between those 3 palettes, I have kind of the neutral brown tones covered. I also have some really great single shadows. You know, I love a single shadow, and there are some nice ones in that palette. So do I have those shadows somewhere else in my makeup collection? Yes. So it doesn't make sense to purchase it, but having this like really cohesive, simple brown palette would have been my bread and butter. Totally would have been something that I would have panned, most likely. And when I decluttered it, it wasn't because it was redundant. It was because I don't like it. Neutral brown palette. It's so boring. That was it. Okay, number 5 are eyeshadow brushes. I have decluttered a lot of eyeshadow brushes over the last 2 years. Some of the eyeshadow brushes I'm thinking about would be really great for outer V work, or, you know, lash line, eyeliner type of stuff. Those are the exact brushes that I've been considering purchasing lately, because I don't really have much to serve those purposes. I don't really have an eyeliner brush. I don't have small detail brushes, and I do feel their presence missing. I decluttered them in a large part because I didn't know how to use them. I didn't know what they would be for. So I just decluttered them instead of trying to figure out how to use what I already have. I'm going to talk about lipsticks next, because I think what I have to say about eyeshadow brushes, or what I have to say about lipsticks, applies to eyeshadow brushes. The next one is just kind of lipsticks generally. When I first started my channel, I actually went back to rewatch this video. My very first declutter, I had about 50 lipsticks plus lip glosses. I currently have around 30 lipsticks, roughly. And I felt a lot of pressure when I started my channel to own less stuff because I was on a no-buy. There wasn't this pressure just to stop buying stuff. There was this pressure to use what I have to pan stuff, to really move things out, to really reduce my numbers. At that time, I was definitely obsessed with the numbers, and I decluttered a lot of lipsticks for the sake of owning fewer things. And there are lipsticks that I vividly remembered enjoying, but decluttered them because I wasn't using them all the time, or because they weren't staples, when they're like really pretty colors, and also I didn't want to put in the effort to have to pan them. So I really just wanted to own fewer things, and I felt like I needed to because I was on a no-buy, and I didn't want to pan, I didn't want to own these things for years to pan them. When in reality, my mindset's different now. I wish I would have kept them and worked on them slowly. There's a chance that they might have expired along the way, but also I didn't really have anybody to give them to at that time. I did give away a couple, but not really all that much. I think I sent them to Project Beauty Share. I'm like 99% sure. So in that way, they're like not a waste. But I also could have taken ownership to finish them. And when I was rewatching that video and seeing all of those beautiful colors, and some that I knew were there before even getting into the video, I was just sad that I succumbed to the pressure to get rid of stuff when there was actually lipsticks in there that I really liked and wanted to use. When I say this applies to the eyeshadow brushes as well, I didn't want to put in the trouble. I didn't want to take the trouble, put in the time to figure out how to use them, to see if I can make them work. And I also wanted to just own less stuff when it comes to eyeshadow brushes too. I really felt like in my no-buy year, I was obligated to pan hard and declutter hard. Those were just things that I believe nobody told them to me. So I was putting this pressure on myself, and then I got rid of a lot of stuff that I wanted to use. Maybe a little bit of it was boredom, and if I had just put some of those eyeshadow brushes away or some of those lipsticks away, I'm not seeing the same thing every day. I come back for 6, 12 months, and then I have some new things, and I'm really, re-inspired, re-excited to use them again, and maybe that would have just been the trick. So now I have been looking into eyeshadow brushes. There's a couple that I know I have owned and decluttered that I'm now like, oh, time to have these things again. It just feels a little wasteful. So let's talk about a couple of sentimental items next. And the first are some formal dresses. I have talked about these before in different videos that I wish that I've kept. I'll put pictures on the screen. You might have seen them before. I love these dresses so much. So much. Like I actually dream about them and think about them to this day. And I was actually out shopping a few months back, and I was looking for a dress to wear to an event, and I came across the same dress that I had worn. It was just in a different color, and it was absolutely not right for the event that I was going to, but I really considered buying it because of how much I love that dress. Now, I didn't buy it because buying it now would have been wasteful. Like there's no place for me to wear it. And I ultimately wanted the original one because it's like a little bit sentimental, but also like I feel like I looked great in it. And it just has like lots of great memories attached to it. And like one of the funniest kind of like moments with some old friends, like my friends spent like 20 minutes physically taping me into the dress. There's like 3 of us. That doesn't sound funny, but it was. And the event that night, memories I'll never forget. And then there's another one, which is a backless dress. Okay, both of those dresses, I felt super hot in them. Like I loved the way that I looked. I was feeling myself. And I remember both of those dresses literally walking around my dorm room in them because I just loved them so much. I'm really sad that I ever got rid of them. Even if I never wore them to this day, I would have loved to see them in my closet. I didn't need to try them on. I just like want to see them hanging there because they bring a smile to my face. And when I see pictures of me in them, it still brings a smile to my face, but also like a little bit of sadness because they're gone. Next up are old phones. I would give an arm to get my BlackBerry and my iPhone back. Those are the phones I had between the ages of like 18 and 21 or 22 for 6 years. Like these, I kept like no pictures from that time. And I know there's a lot of stuff that I've just forgotten about, just like even random mundane stuff that are just like lost, you know? And also contacts and people. There's just a lot of memories and yeah, that are just lost. If I just kept my old phones, it would have been a treasure trove. Even just like owning a BlackBerry, my God, like just having one now would have been really cool. Like, I never owned a Razor, but it's like one of those things, like if you owned a Razor, then it's just kind of like fun to have now. I do have my MacBook from that time. That MacBook lasted me very close to a decade. I think it was 9 years. And I did buy a part to be able to extract stuff from my hard drive. So hopefully I can recover some things from that would have been lost on my phone. But I do regret decluttering both of those phones. Next up is one of those things that I think might be one of the funniest things on here. If you know me now, if you watch any of my videos in the last 2 months, combat boots. Back in 2020, when I first started my channel, I did a shoe declutter. I owned combat boots. I bought them in 2019 and I owned them for a very short period of time. Like I bought them roughly between September and October 2019, and then I decluttered them like in the spring of 2020. Did not even own them for a year. I decluttered them. Back then, I was not a combat boot girly. I really wasn't. And also, they weren't this chunky combat boot like I have now. I mean, I have since bought a pair of combat boots. They're chunkier. They're my everything. I cannot live without these combat boots. I wish I kept them. Like, honestly, I wish I kept my old combat boots. I really did. I did have a pair in university, and I didn't own them for several years. And I thought, well, I loved mine so much back in university. I wore them until they had holes and physically broke apart. So I'm like, okay, this makes sense. I love them so much. I should just buy another pair. I did, and then it was like, oh, no, they're not for me. And it's like, are you also going to hang on to a pair of combat boots for 3 years to eventually one day wear them, but then also not have them be the right ones that you like? The ones I have now are way better than the ones I owned previously. And I hope that I will never give up these boots. Number 10 are band t-shirts. For a long time, for years, my t-shirt drawer was just band t-shirts. I'm gonna try and see if I can find any photos of me in them. There's this iconic photo of me when I'm like 14, 15. I don't know where the hell it is. I can try searching for it, where I'm in Cuba wearing a Devil Wears Prada t-shirt. I owned like dozens of band t-shirts. Every band I loved, I owned a band t-shirt from, even some that like I totally forgot about now. Chiodos, Devil Wears Prada, Protest the Hero. Who else? I owned Cobra Starship, Mercy Mercedes, Mayday Parade. The list was endless. I owned so many band t-shirts, and I would also give my left arm to own them. Like it would have been just a little history of my music. And even if I wouldn't wear them now, I would love to own them. I think they're quite fun. I would have loved to still have had all these band t-shirts, and I don't think there's really a way to get most of them back. And as well, I don't know that I would necessarily pay money to get them back. Like if I were, it would probably be my Devil Wears Prada one, but like that is from like 2007 or 8. Like, does anybody even have these? Are they in any kind of condition? I don't know. And I just kind of want my own, like my old one back. The last thing are a pair of hoop earrings. Oh my goodness. Have you ever told yourself that you can't wear something? You know, that it's just not for you when you haven't tried wearing that thing in a long time? Or maybe you've never tried wearing that thing, you've just told yourself that you can't. I've always told myself that I don't look good in hoops. I always assumed I never looked good in hoops. And then a few years ago, I got a gift of some small hoop earrings and I realized that I do look good in hoops. And then I also have bought some myself, like these ones I have on today. Hoops are my favorite kinds of earrings to wear to this day. I love them way more than studs. And for a long time, I only ever wore studs. Part of the reason why I told myself that I couldn't wear hoops is because I had spaced my first ears. And so my ears will never heal, like they'll never close up. And the hole in my ear, like it just doesn't look cute. And when you put on a long dangly earring or something heavy, it like pulls down my whole ear, and it's just really heavy on my ear and looks even worse because I've had spaced ears. So I always told myself I couldn't wear hoops, and I couldn't wear hoops of any kind or any long dangly earrings because they wouldn't look good and they would hurt and they would like stretch out my ears and they would look bad. Not just like the actual ears, that like this style didn't look good on me. And so I bought a pair of hoops to test out and then loved them, like loved the way that they looked in the like on the board, and then never wore them. Like I have no pictures of me in them. It's almost like they never existed. I have worn similar styles since, and they were like kind of an expensive pair of hoops, and I spent my money on them, like my hard-earned freaking college money on them, thinking that they'd be cute, that they would be an investment, only to never wear them, to feel like I could never wear them. And then I decluttered them, and then a couple of years later, I go, oh, I actually look really cute in hoops, and they're super classic style, just like I knew, but I can actually wear them, and I look good in them. And what was I thinking? So, I mean, now I can, I guess, replace them. If I wasn't in my own head to begin with, there wouldn't be any need to replace them. I just would have worn them. Part of me believed that because I bought them in the first place, but I also bought them in the name of an investment without really even thinking about if I like them, if I would wear them. You know, I've had no track record with hoops. I think I just thought this will be the pair of hoops that will break all of my previous feelings about them, and no, they didn't. So I wasted money, and then I decluttered them, only to then several years later fall back in love with them, and now I don't own them. What a sad story. But on the plus side, you know, to leave on a positive note, I'm a hoops girl now, and I know it and I love it, and I have all these beautiful hoops that I can wear and like feel cute in. So yay to countering bad thoughts that we've previously had. That's it for me. Those are 11 things I wish I never decluttered. And there's quite a few that I have repurchased. I would like to know from you, what have you decluttered that you regret? Leave them in the comments below. I'm curious to know if we share any commonalities or if you have other things. I'm really wondering what yours are, like what other people's are. If you like this video, I hope that you would subscribe to catch more content like this. We have a lot of fun content coming up in the next couple of months. Thanks again to Ana Luisa for sponsoring today's video. And if you're looking to pick up jewelry this holiday season, use Shawna Ripari 20 to get 20% off your purchase. Thanks for watching, hanging out, and I hope to see you again around here soon. Bye.